Hello and warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans. I have an update pertaining to Robert Sylvester Kelly and T.I., one legendary R&B singer and the other well-known rapper, deriving out of Atlanta, Georgia. And please bear with me because the information pertaining to T.I. will be a bit lengthy, so I'm going to discuss Robert Kelly first. Thank you all so much for joining me. As most of you know, Robert Sylvester Kelly is facing numerous charges out of the state of Illinois, Minnesota, and New York. He is now in the custody of a facility in New York, Brooklyn, New York. He will be going to trial here shortly. It was expected to start on the 9th of this month, but I believe opening arguments will begin on the 18th. And I'm going to bring you some information by AP if you need verification for the story. Lawyer says R.Kelly gained weight, lost money ahead of trial. R&B star R.Kelly gained weight and lost money while he awaits a sex trafficking trial that starts in earnest next week, his lawyer said Tuesday at a court hearing. The revelations came as U.S. District Judge Ann M. Donnelly in New York made a series of rulings to narrow down what evidence can be shown to jurors. She mostly ruled for prosecutors, but said some evidence will be excluded because it is too similar to other parts of the case aimed at showing Kelly engaged in racketeering in pursuit of women and girls he could abuse. The Grammy-winning multi-platinum selling R&B singer is accused of leading an enterprise of managers, bodyguards, and other employees who helped him recruit women and girls for sex, sometimes at concerts and other venues. He has pled not guilty to racketeering, bribery, coercion, enticement, and sex trafficking. And that is the set information by AP News. So here we have a disgraced musician, singer, with no money, can't fit whatever clothing he may have possession of. So now he's in need of, as they are stating in this article, outerwear. How about that? And also had mentioned that he will need to pay for his transcripts as well. So obviously the state thinks Mr. Kelly has money, and it was also stated in another article that I read that they want him to pay for his transcripts. But obviously his attorneys are saying he does not have any money. And the topper, of course, is that R. Kelly allegedly cannot read nor write. So one would have to ask the most important question, well, how in the world did you write your music? And two, how have you been living all this time beforehand, before being reprimanded, by law officials? How are you making it? So you were trusting others to be over your money, your accounts. So as someone said, well, what about his royalties? Very good question. What about them? Because if you can't read or write, you don't know what to sign, what you're signing. So anyone could serve you anything on a piece of paper, possibly a blank sheet. Because one would then have to wonder about your damn eyesight. I'm just saying. Some would say this is a sad tragedy. Sad for whom? Because you see, we all make decisions in our lives. We choose to do what we want to do. We roll the dice and we follow suit. Everything's a choice. And as I stated before in other commentary, everything is about your response as well. Everything is about your response. So Robert Kelly has got himself in a very dire situation. He is in custody in Brooklyn, New York, facing a multitude of charges such as racketeering. He's also has charges in Illinois, Cook County, Chicago, and Minneapolis, if I'm not mistaken, Minnesota. So it goes on and on. And as I have told you all, if he was to bond out today, he still would have charges in other jurisdictions. So what point would it be to bond out? And as they're stating, he has no money. So how could he bond out over here, and over here? He could not. Very sad day, is it? As I state, everything's a choice. This is a choice. Choices that Robert Kelly made for himself, getting himself tangled up with these young girls and these women and doing certain things and hiring certain people to do devious things on his behalf. So he chose this road, and so did these other demons. They didn't have to go along. And in the end, what did you get? Because now they're saying he's broke. So one would have to wonder, those who were on the sidelines attempting to benefit and benefit temporarily, what do you have now? You're probably just as broke as Robert Kelly, and you also probably have a tarnished name. So in the end, you all are losers. Who's the winner? Who is the winner? AP is the source. Okay. I have more information to bring to you pertaining to Robert Kelly. Thank you for joining me. When I get it uploaded, here we go. Hot97.com is the second source. R. Kelly's lawyer admits singer had sexual relations with Aaliyah, and jury will hear about illegal marriage. R. Kelly's trial will begin very soon. In the latest update, prosecutors will present evidence that Kelly allegedly had sexual contact with Aaliyah when she was underage. The late singer will be referred to as Jane Doe #1. R. Kelly and Aaliyah jumped off here. Secretly got married in 1994 when she was 15 and he was 27. At the time, Aaliyah used a fake ID that said she was 18. Allegedly, R. Kelly or someone from his camp bribed a government official for the fake ID. The marriage was later annulled. USA Today points out Aaliyah became pregnant at the time, which is why Kelly married her. The article reports that the marriage would have protected him from possible criminal charges at the time because a wife can't be forced to testify against her husband. I always wondered why they kept saying that. And then I had to remember the issue of being married, and if one comes under a charge, the spouse does not have to testify because it is a law. I'm assuming in most states that a spouse does not have to testify if called upon by the state. NYDN notes a lawyer for R. Kelly conceded that R. Kelly had sexual contact with recording artist Aaliyah during an awkward exchange over the R&B star's illegal marriage when she was just 15. However, then Kelly's defense lawyer, Thomas Farinella, quickly backtracked. Judge Ann Donnelly asked Farinella, "Are you going to deny that there was sexual contact with Jane Doe 1? Farinella reportedly gave a deep sigh and said no, quote unquote. Then federal prosecutor Elizabeth Geddes then chimed in, giving Farinella an opening to walk back his remark by reminding him that Aaliyah was underage at the time, reported on NYDN. Are they not going to dispute that at the time Jane Doe 1, Aaliyah, was 13 to 15 years old? Geddes asked. Wow, that's deep. Farinella replied, "We do dispute," Farinella said, though it was not clear if he was referring to Aaliyah's age or whether the two had a sexual relationship. We're not prepared to concede that right now. And there's information here by MSN. If you need verification, and it's a photo of Mr. Robert Kelly and another photo of Miss Aaliyah at the time when she was alive. And as I state, more drama because now a decedent, Aaliyah, her information is now getting ready to come back to the forefront, and there are many people out there who will dispute, why are you all bringing up things about this lady? She's deceased, blah, blah, blah. You're ruining her name. You're tarnishing her name. This is what you need to understand about life. Nothing stops because you're alive, and nothing stops because you are deceased. And it's not to try to ruin her name. It is to show a pattern that has been going on with Mr. Kelly with young women, young girls underage, children, mind you. So now you want to factor in she possibly was 13 when he met her or had relationships with her. Even worse. Because some of you think it's okay for a 16-year-old to be out here dating a man, 17. Okay, how you feel now at 13? You understand what I'm saying? Wrong is wrong. Does not matter if it was a long time ago. A crime is a crime, such as murder. They still will look for you, law enforcement, if you committed a murder. If a person is murdered, they still will go out and search for the persons responsible. The case will remain open, code or not. They will keep it on the books. So, rape has been an issue, and I'm sure in many states, statute of limitations. So, someone rapes someone, so much time goes by, somebody starts saying, hey, this happened to me, yeah, yeah, yeah. They go back on the books, look at the time when the person is making the allegations against the said person, and it's like, oh, well, it's too long. It's over 7 years. It's 8, 9. We can't do anything. We can't help you. You may be telling the truth, but we can't help you. I think most states need to stop that because a crime is a crime. So we cannot let people walk the streets if they have been harming our children, whether they are sports figures, politicians, musicians, preacher, pastor, rabbi. Does not matter. Doesn't matter that you're famous. Doesn't matter that you seem nice, act nice, wealthy, well off, talk good, cook good. You see where I'm going. Wrong is wrong. And a child is to be revered. And how is it that we can walk around here and act like we care about children when they're missing, when they're hurt, when they're harmed, abused, beaten, but then we turn a blind eye and act like it's nothing because they had sexual relations with a grown man. How's it different? It's because they didn't get beat up. They weren't starved. They weren't physically, mentally abused. Oh, even sexually abused. But it is sexual abuse. Because you have no business as an adult talking, pursuing, ogling, soliciting a minor. And that's the bottom line. And it doesn't matter when it happened. It's a crime. And it is wrong. Hot97.com is the source for this said information, and thank you for joining me. Complex.com, and it's probably basically giving you the same information that I just brought to you by Hot 97, but I want to make sure I give you everything before Mr. Kelly attends court. R.Kelly attorney backtracks after declining to deny client had sexual contact with Aaliyah. One of R.Kelly's attorneys reportedly declined to deny on Tuesday that the disgraced singer had sexual contact with the late Aaliyah while she was a minor. Later, however, the same attorney seemingly walked back the non-denial. Asked Tuesday during pretrial proceedings related to Kelly's Brooklyn federal court sex trafficking case whether the defense was going to deny that there was sexual contact with Jane Doe, number 1, which is Aaliyah. Attorney Thomas Farinella, per Noah Goldberg for the New York Daily News, reportedly responded with a deep sigh before offering a no when Judge Ann Donnelly noted that Kelly and Jane Doe 1 were married. Notably, Jane Doe 1 was previously reported by the New York Times to be Aaliyah. From there, the report adds, Elizabeth Getz, a federal prosecutor, stepped in. Are they not going to dispute that at the time Jane Doe 1 was 13 to 15 years old? Geddes is said to have asked, with Farinella responding that they do dispute and were not prepared to concede that right now. The report makes it clear that it wasn't immediately certain whether Farinella was referencing the age or the nature of the relationship. In the comments, Complex is the source. So basically, the information I've brought to you is that R. Kelly has put on weight. He's broke. Another article states he cannot pay for his transcript, so that means the state is wanting him to pay, assuming that he has money. Obviously, they think he does have money, but as I state, he cannot read or write. Allegedly, that is what has been reported over the years. So how would he know if he has money? And in the end, are people going to care? The victims aren't going to care. And I'm curious, who is over his estate, his royalties, his money? Because, as I state, if you can't read or write, you don't know what you've been handed. You don't know what you signed, and you're putting your entire livelihood in the hands of someone that you are deeming trustworthy. And some could say the Pied Piper is getting his just due. To be without nothing, to be with nothing, have nothing, not know what's going on, oblivious because he's chosen not to learn how to read and write, not even take a GED course to better himself when he had the means, the opportunity. This is his payback for some way back. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But karma is a shut your mouth. That's the said information. Complex. If you need verification for the source. Next is T.I. My, has he been a busy bee? He and Tiny. Well, this time, Tiny is out of the equation, I believe. I'm going to bring you said information pertaining to Mr. Tip. And this is some shenanigans that has gone on outside of the country. And I don't know what's going on, but he obviously has been in a little bit of trouble. And after I bring you that said information, I'm going to recap all the allegations that are coming out, allegedly, that he and his wife have been accused of. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you want to donate to the channel, $Big Angie, 129 Cash App, and all super chats are welcome during the live stream. Thank you so very much. This information is by Rolling Out. T.I. arrested in Amsterdam. Rap mogul T.I. was reportedly arrested in the Netherlands while celebrating his wedding anniversary with his wife, Tamika Tiny Harris. Well, now, so she was on the scene. Very interesting. And in the said photograph, you will see him with little bitty dreads. So obviously he's trying to grow out his hair into dreadlocks. Well, my, interesting. Well, let's just say this. If he gets found guilty for said charges in certain jurisdictions, he probably will have a full head of dreadlocks. I'm just saying. The music power couple had sojourned in Italy to commemorate the 11th year since the two exchanged vows. While in Europe, the couple decided to trek on over to Amsterdam. I wonder why. You know, you get to do lots of things in Amsterdam. I don't have to repeat it on the live. Shut up. Where the Grand Hustle boss ran into the local police, literally. According to Tip 40, he was riding on his bike while using his phone when he and the Amsterdam squad car collided, and he was subsequently taken to jail. Using your phone while biking is illegal in Amsterdam. I thought it was something worse. Shut up, Queen. Tip regaled his 15 million Instagram followers of the episode in a live video. So, I'm locked up now, Tip began in the video. I'm obviously not supposed to have my phone as I'm biking, and because the policeman ran into me and broke his rearview mirror, and because I didn't have my passport on me, I don't know. It'll be fine. The star of classic films ATL and American Gangster said that even though the officer was irate, the transport from the streets to the back seat of a squad car and then to jail was drama-free, relatively speaking. He was extremely upset, Tip testified. I was having a great time. I'm still not upset. I'm having a phenomenal time. They arrested me. They didn't even put me in handcuffs. They just opened the door and invited me to the back seat. I obliged. Tip tried to bail himself out with the thick wad of cash he had in his pocket, which he still had in his pocket and flashed for the camera. However, T.I. said the police made him call someone to bring his passport. And that's it. Okay. Interesting. So I guess obviously he was able to bail out. Well, let's just talk about that for just a second. I'm so glad he thought this was such a great, grand time. He was having a wonderful time getting put in the back seat of a patrol car in a foreign country where we know terrible things happen to Americans in foreign countries, even when they're not doing anything, even when they're just minding their business. And he is fortunate that nothing jumped off. There was no abuse. He didn't end up dead. You see where I'm going with this? So I'm so glad he had a great time. And I think he should know better than to be talking on his phone, riding a motorcycle, bicycle, radio flyer, train, tricycle. Stop, Queen. T.I., you know better. You see, you're honoring. That's the reason why you have the problems you have here in America with these women making allegations against you. You didn't carry yourself way over there across that pond and getting on a bicycle. Shut up, Queen. With a damn cell phone. Now you know better. And you're fortunate that nothing bad happened to you. You could have been hurt, harmed. You could have gotten beaten up by the police or anybody else. They could have left you in jail. Could have stole all your money. Shut up. Hello. Did I leave anything out? Honorary. T.I. Another one that won't learn. Rolling out is the source. Thank you for joining me. As most of you know, T.I. and his wife have a lot going on in their personal life pertaining to allegations against them. And since he's decided to be a bad boy over on the pond, across the pond rather, I decided to recap the allegations brought against he and his wife in this said commentary, alongside Robert Sylvester Kelly. I thought, hell, why not? Let's just roll with it. As most of you know, there are some very nasty things being said about T.I. and his wife. I do not know if these allegations are true, half truth, a little bit of truth, but nonetheless, their name is being tainted in the public, and we will see where it goes and how far it will go. If all the women will continue to say the same thing and or follow through with their testimonies and or lawsuits or both, we will wait and see. Pop Sugar is the source. A full timeline of the horrifying accusations against T.I. and Tiny Harris. Accusations against rapper T.I. and Tiny, legal names Clifford and Tamika Harris, are continuing to come to light with the LAPD opening an investigation of the Harrises in the most recent update. It all stems from allegations that the couple have habitually engaged in abusive behaviors, including drugging, kidnapping, and sexual assault. As new details continue to emerge, here's a thorough timeline of what we know so far. January 25th, 2021, Sabrina Peterson accuses T.I. She's a former friend of the couple. She took to Instagram to reveal her accusations against T.I., accusing him of holding her at gunpoint in front of her children. Or in front of children, excuse me. At Troubleman31, you put a gun to my head in front of children, and I never called the police on you. But for years, you have painted me as the villain, she wrote in part. In the comments, she claimed that T.I. put the gun to her head during the altercation with his assistant. In response, Tiny went in to comment to defend her husband. Into the comments, excuse me. The Instagram account for the Shade Room captured the screenshot. Hold up. So you want your abuser to train your sons? He was just uncle 2 years ago. Now, when did you say my husband assaulted you? Did you change your mind or change it back? What with you today, Pooh? I'm confused, she wrote. Stop harassing my family. You strange. Everybody know you've been special. Please get help, but leave us alone. Those are the words from Tiny. January 28th, 2021. Peterson alleges sexual abuse, T.I. and Tiny deny allegations. Following her initial accusations, Peterson posted a series of screenshots, allegedly DMs from women who accused the couple of sexual abuse, forcing women to take drugs and more, according to E! News. In response, the couple's representative issued a statement. Mr. and Mrs. Harris want to be on record and, more importantly, want the public to know they emphatically deny in the strongest way possible the appalling allegations, I can't pronounce the other word right, being made against them by Sabrina Peterson. The Harrises have had difficulty with this woman for well over a decade. They are taking this matter very seriously, and if these allegations don't end, they will take appropriate legal action. T.I. went on his own Instagram to further deny the allegations in a video. Whatever we ever have done has been done with consensual adults who this wording is crazy. Been done with consensual adults who into what we into and like what we like. Okay, I'm dead. If we want something, we know exactly where to get it, where to go get it. We've never forced anybody. We've never drugged anybody against their will. We've never held anybody against their will. We've never made anybody do anything. We've never sexually trafficked anything. So now he's calling a human being anything. That don't sound good, T.I. February 2021, T.I. and Tiny's TV show put on hold. On February 5th, Deadline reported that production on the 4th season of the reality show T.I. and Tiny, Friends and Family Hustle, was being put on hold indefinitely due to allegations. We are aware of the allegations, and while they are not connected to our show, we have reached out to T.I. and Tamika Harris as well as local and state officials, an MTV Entertainment spokesperson said in a statement. Given the serious nature of the allegations, we have decided to suspend production in order to gather more information. March 1st, 2021, attorney Tyrone Blackburn seeks criminal charges. Blackburn held a press conference stating that his firm is representing 11 accusers, according to Deadline, and has been contacted by more than 30. Wow, didn't know that. In a letter to California Attorney General Xavier Becerra, Blackburn said, the various events of interest span 15 years and have occurred in California, especially in the city of Los Angeles and the states of Georgia and Florida. One woman who identifies herself as an old friend of Tiny's from Atlanta is mentioned as both the victim of drugging and sexual assault, as well as a witness who has personally witnessed women complaining of being kidnapped and held against their will for days at a time. In response, the couple's attorney released a statement also reported by Deadline. Clifford T.I. and Tamika Harris deny the strongest possible terms these unsubstantiated and baseless allegations. We are confident that if these claims are thoroughly and fairly investigated, no charges will be forthcoming. These allegations are nothing more than the continuation of a sordid shakedown campaign that began on social media. The Harrises implore everyone not to be taken in by these obvious attempts to manipulate the press and misuse the justice system. March 1st, 2021, Peterson sues the Harrises for defamation. In addition to the pending criminal case, the Harrises and former family friend Shakina Jones are facing charges of defamation following the Instagram exchange with Sabrina Peterson. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Peterson alleges she was harassed as a result of Tiny's response to Peterson's claim that T.I. put a gun to her head. An attorney for the Harrises called Peterson's claims meritless. May 17, 2021, LAPD opens an investigation of T.I. and Tiny Harris. On May 17th, people confirmed that T.I. and Tiny Harris are being investigated by the Los Angeles Police Department for alleged sexual assault. A spokesperson for the LAPD said that the investigation is ongoing. The investigation comes after two women filed police reports. One was filed with the LAPD and the other was filed with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, alleging they were drugged and sexually assaulted by T.I. and Tiny Harris. May 17, 2021, the Harrises react to the investigation. Shortly after the investigation was opened, Steve Sado, an attorney for T.I. and Tiny, released a statement on the couple's behalf. The Harrises have not spoken or been contacted by Los Angeles Police Department or Las Vegas Police Department, or indeed any member of law enforcement from any other jurisdiction in the country. The statement read, even assuming the story in the Daily Beast is close to accurate, it appears the LAPD accuser has chosen once again to remain anonymous, thereby preventing us from being in a position to disprove or refute her allegations or even examine them. Meanwhile, although we now appear for the first time to have the name of an accuser who supposedly filed a police report with LVPD, that's Las Vegas, we have absolutely zero details about her or her claim. That is the sad information by Pop Sugar. T.I. got arrested overseas, riding a bike while talking on the phone, was able to bond out once the passport was brought in by the wife. Honorary cocky, we're not shocked. And this was just a list of all the things that's going on pertaining to he and his wife with allegations against them in a few jurisdictions in our country. You are entitled to believe whatever you want to believe about Tiny, T.I., true, untrue. But there seems to be a pattern with these people who are wealthy. They seem to just think they can do whatever they want to do, treat people any kind of way, talk to them any kind of way, pull out weapons, threaten them, whatever. But once again, you're entitled to your opinion and think what you want. Some may be hyped up, some may not. Some may be true, some may not. But when you start getting a lot of people piping, hollering, screaming, it just looks bad. And sometimes, as I've said in my previous commentary, sometimes you just get payback for some way back. That kind of way back that you never got caught doing and got away with. And then karma brings it on back. And I kind of think that's what's going on with some of these allegations. Because in the end, you really can't prove what happened behind closed doors. Or can you? This is that information pertaining to Robert Sylvester Kelly T.I. and T.I.'s wife, Tiny. When I get more information, I will bring it to you. Robert Kelly is facing a lot of charges right now. He's in Brooklyn, New York. He will be going to trial. I hope Court TV airs it. I will be bringing you coverage as much as I can pertaining to his court appearances, the trials, testimony, anything they bring forth. I will be on top of it, and I will bring you the said information. Thank you for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $Beganji, 129 Cash App. Thank you so much for your support. God bless all of you, and I'll talk to you guys later. This is Everyday Shenanigans.